But before I begin Carrie's introduction, seniors, you may remember her giving you advice during your first days here at Colgate, and I wonder if we can play that for them.
Oh, hi. I'm Carrie Clifford, and I graduated just a few years ago from Colgate, and I invented the iPhone. It's not a big deal. It came to me in a dream one night. But I remember being just where you are, in a chapel with no center aisle, and this is kind of the time where all the rumors start spreading. You're probably hearing things about other members of the class of 2016, like I'm sure there's someone who got a perfect score on their SATs, or someone who created a symphony when they were only 6 years old, or someone whose father owns an island and they took a private jet up to Hamilton. Find these people, befriend them. They're better than you. And maybe one day they'll invent something that is as influential as an iPhone.
Our comedian, actor, producer, the creator of the iPhone, Carrie Clifford. Carrie is a former Colgate women's lacrosse player. She was coached by her very own field hockey coach, Kathy Photo. She majored in art history. She was on the Patriot League academic honor roll. She started the Colgate Entertainment Alumni Club. She was chair of the Colgate Club in Los Angeles. She was one of Colgate's real-world speaker. And I love to surround our student athletes with excellent people. And it is my pleasure to welcome Carrie Clifford to the podium.
Whoop, there it is, hit man. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is.
You guys might not think that this outfit is sexy, but it was. If this was the 90s, I look good, you know? Seriously, we thought that we looked good in this. And I probably would pair it with like men's corduroys, or like what, we wore everything really big, or like what would, like real boyfriend jeans, like not what you guys get now as boyfriend jeans, but one that would be from like a boyfriend or someone that you wanted as your boyfriend. But but I feel like you guys are much better looking and have a way better sense of style than we ever did. But, you can't plan what decade you're born in. So, but as Vicki mentioned, I'm a pretty big-time actor. I'm sure you're all huge fans of the critically panned movie starring two YouTube sensations, Bad Night, or the Halloween caper Fun Size. Maybe you guys are 10 of the fans of Star's first sitcom, Hollywood Residential. Or maybe you guys watched TNT's short-lived show, Trust Me. So it's really nice to be in a room filled with fans. I'm an actor and writer in LA, and I'm originally from Boston. And Colgate was always one of those Northeast schools that a lot of people from my high school applied to. And my dad went to Colgate, so I'd been here a few times, so I knew about it, but I wasn't quite convinced it was right for me. So I knew I wanted to play lacrosse in college, and the one lacrosse player that I knew here was the best player who had ever played in my high school's history. So I came up to Colgate, and she introduced me to a few players, and they were really strong and really fast, and they could chug a beer in like a second. And I did not know if I could hang with people of that caliber, so I went and looked at Middlebury. And that was the fall of my senior year in high school, and since lacrosse is a spring sport, I went to a practice with the field hockey team, and it was the same coach and some of the same players. And the practice started off as you would imagine, running, and then some drills, and then all of a sudden the coach got really excited, and she's like, "We're not gonna have practice today, we're gonna make apple cider." And I was like, not quite how I imagined being an esteemed college athlete. I wanted to play lacrosse, not become proficient in making small batch artisanal beverages. So I applied to Colgate. I know you guys are way smarter, and I would never get into Colgate now, but also you should know that we had a lot of disadvantages. I didn't have a computer. I had a word processor. Google it. They were terrible, slightly better than a typewriter. We didn't have cell phones, so if you wanted to know where people were hanging out, you went and found them. If you wanted to call a guy at a fraternity, you called the payphone there, and after about 2 minutes, everyone in the fraternity knew who was on the other end of the phone. Oh, and we didn't have these cush coach buses that you guys travel to games in. We had 2 maroon vans with a cassette tape player for our psych mix. But it seems like you guys still have struggles. Basketball player David Favorite recently tweeted, "I hate being so excited to take a nap that the excitement prevents you from falling asleep." Hashtag college problems. So true, Dave Fave. And our parents couldn't be helicopter parents because they had no idea where we were. I think we talked to them on average like once a week. You guys call your parents way too much. You know that, right? Do you guys know that? You should create some distance and let them miss you. We got away with more. My parents didn't know what I was up to, and frankly, I don't think they cared. They heard about the big things, but they never knew when I had to do 20 hours of community service for improperly disposing my garbage behind Hamilton Whole Foods. My roommates' parents never knew when we used their gas station card at the gas station, not for gas, but for beer. When our sorority was put on probation for trashing the Trinkus Manor near Utica during a Christmas formal, our parents never found out. My parents did, however, find out when said sorority was kicked off campus for a party in my apartment. Whoops. When you're an athlete, you still have fun, but your non-athlete friends seem to have more of a social life. You want to go out, but you can't because you have a game. Soccer player Uyo sums it up in a tweet. "I usually feel bad when I don't go out, but watching Grey's Anatomy makes me feel better." You guys are not just college athletes, you're Division I college athletes. You already have so many skills that will prepare you for life after Colgate. People love hiring college athletes. One obvious reason, you know how to work as a team. In most industries, there's collaboration. You're good at reading people. You know which teammates need to be by themselves after a loss or which ones may need to be monitored after a win. You know how to manage time better than non-athletes. It's a fact, so embrace it. Student athletes have to juggle classes, studying, conditioning, practice, travel, games, a social life, and more. It can be a lot. You can feel hockey player Caitlin Parker's frustration in this tweet. "Dear exams, at least buy me dinner first." Hashtag 4.0, hashtag LOL JKJK. Another thing you guys know is how it feels to lose. So many successful people say they learn more from their failures than successes. There's loss in the workplace. You lose an account, you lose a client, you lose a job. I get rejected most days. I spend most of my days auditioning or having meetings about projects, and statistically, most of them never pan out. I honestly think that having played sports and experienced loss over and over makes it not as hard to have this feeling. You guys also know how to win and not be a dick about it, which can be hard. Sometimes you're so excited you have to show it off, like when football won the Patriot League, and James Holland tweeted a pic of him wearing his Patriot League champs watch and football ring, and he wrote, "All this ice, I'm my own jeweler." Legendary coach Bear Bryant said, "It's not the will to win that matters. Everyone has that. It's the will to prepare to win that matters. Successful athletes are used to working through tough situations and know what is needed on game, not just on game day, but in practices and workouts leading up to it. In the job world, most of the time is spent preparing for big events. You don't land a new account or shoot a movie every day, you prepare. I just tell you guys these things to give you some confidence. I feel like I've been talking recently to a lot of seniors and recent alums who are paranoid that they're never gonna find a job or the right job. You will, and don't worry about it. It takes time. You have to hone in on what you wanna do, and there's so many jobs out there that you don't even know exist. You're not supposed to know right now what you wanna do for the rest of your life, and if you did, that would be kind of boring. I moved to Chicago after college kind of randomly, and I wanted to work in TV production, and it was really hard to find a job doing that, so I ended up getting a job at Crate and Barrel while I learned more about the TV and film industry. At Crate and Barrel, I met a friend who said, "You know what we should do to meet cute guys? Let's take an improv class." So we did. And we did not meet any cute guys in that class. But I've been doing improv ever since. And I did eventually start working for a commercial director, and then I worked as a producer on a talk show, and then I eventually moved out to LA and kept doing production, working for MTV and different places, and then I slowly phased that out to focus more on acting and writing. But a lot of my career has happened so randomly, and like in sports, you might have a plan, and sometimes the play goes totally differently. Did you guys know that 95% of Fortune 500 CEOs played college sports? Did you guys know that 11 out of the past 14 US presidents were collegiate athletes? Do you know that all of the current presidential candidates say they played sports, but none of them in college? So, like, we didn't already know this, but we're doomed. There are so many life lessons that I learned from playing lacrosse here. I'm sure the football team can relate. You guys must have learned a lot from the wise teammate Eric Kushner. He gave the Twitter world something to ponder with this nugget. The robbers from Home Alone should have died so many times. So true, Eric. I learned when everyone is going to a great party, you don't always get to go. I never had a spring party weekend. In my era, they made sure that all the spring teams were away that weekend. There was one spring party weekend that we actually got one day of it, and I'm pretty sure that they had us sleep at a hotel on Friday night, and then on Saturday we had a game. And we had a game, and then simultaneously, Fish was playing on Whitnall Field. Fish as in PH, not like something from the dining hall. So people were like, should we go see Fish or women's lacrosse? So there was no one at our game. I also learned how to cope when people made spring break plans around you. Like any of you who do a spring sport, I never had a spring break. I never went to Cancun, never drove through the night to get to Florida, never met Syracuse guys in the Bahamas and thought we'd remain friends. But I did travel around the eastern seaboard in a van with a great lacrosse team. Lax player Hani Korn gets it, tweeting, "God bless Hampton Inns for always having free cookies once you check in." Double heart. My freshman year, I wasn't seeing that much playtime, and to me, being tan after spring break seemed really vital. And this was the 90s, so tan skin meant something, and we were tougher. We didn't fear wrinkles or skin cancer. So I'll never forget, we were at the University of Maryland. Oh, and Kathy Foto was our coach. She's here tonight. Hope she remembers this. And so we had the day off, and then we had a game the next day. And my friend Kristen and I were like, let's go tanning. So we looked through the yellow pages, and we found a tanning salon nearby, and we needed someone who was authorized to drive the van to take us, so we asked our assistant coach if she could take us to a strip mall because we needed some things. Somehow she believed us, and she dropped us off and picked us up about an hour later. We thought we had successfully tanned our bodies without getting caught, which is ridiculous because we were much darker. And then Kathy asked us where we went, and we made up some story about how we really wanted to see the Kappa House at the University of Maryland. And then later, Coach Photo instituted a no tanning policy before games. I will say that any success I've had in the entertainment industry has been from my network and who I know. I remain close to so many friends from Colgate. In LA, I hang out with a lot of Colgate people, most of whom I didn't even know when I was here. I've worked on a bunch of TV shows, movies, web series with Colgate people. I think your network is like your team. You're part of a Colgate network and a smaller network of athletes, so use it, make memories here, and then go have more adventures, and don't call your parents and tell them everything. I asked a few other alums how playing a sport at Colgate prepared them for the real world, and I just wanted to read you a few of their responses. Ken Baker, class of '92, who played hockey and what is now a correspondent for E! Entertainment and also an author, said, "Being successful at just about anything requires talent, discipline, and focus. Playing hockey at Colgate while juggling academics truly made me better in all these areas, and it has helped me with more than a 20-year career in journalism." Caitlin Lynch Lowe, who was in that "What's Up" video, she, class of '96, played soccer. She used to work as a personal trainer and actor, and now she's a mother and marathoner. "I hated leaving the field knowing I still had something left in me. I learned how to gauge how much energy and focus was needed for the whole game. This carried me through marathon training, working 2 jobs in New York City, and going to school at night. And now most of all, raising 4 kids. Getting it all done is great, but getting it done the way you want is even better." The last one, Rob Stone, class of '91, he played soccer. He's now a commentator on Fox Sports. "It taught me how to work coherently with others, be a team player. It taught me to love too. I mean, I love the guys I played with, miss them desperately, and relish every random moment we reconnect. It reinforced the concept that we are different and have to hold ourselves to a higher standard compared to a normal student that didn't battle the time commitments, exhaustion, and expectations of being an athlete representing an elite institution. Hope you guys feel proud of this great organization that is Colgate Athletics and continue on this tradition. Give back to your community and always remember you're talented and have skills that set you apart. Congratulations on such a great year in sports. That video is awesome. Congratulations on all the awards tonight. I can feel the enthusiasm, and I think that hockey player Evan Peterson probably sums up what you're feeling when he tweeted back in December, "How can anyone fall asleep knowing that Santa comes tonight?" Thanks a lot.